people would come by who were lethargic and like it because they want energy.
Gave them energy.
And people with energy would respond to it because they want more. And everybody else is indifferent to it and may have just liked it, but I could tell the subtle differences. So I collected poetry this way. They'd come up and they thought they were going to pay for the print. I said, no, it's yours, it's a gift. They thought they'd write a poem in exchange, but if they did it there, it wouldn't be inspired. So I gave over 17,000 of these away. And people would, I said, if you want to write a poem for my project, you're welcome to. If you don't, it's okay. But if you do, you can contribute it to my program if you'd like to. 57 poems came back. They're all inspired. They're all beautiful. And then I started saving lives in a scenario in relationship to this project. One man came up to me. He thought he was, he was going to knock off a little poem really quick. And I just gave it to him. Yeah. And 6 months later, I met him a year later, and he said 6 months after I took the print, I really just wanted the print. And he said I had a massive heart attack in the valley, and he was being transported during rush hour traffic to UCLA, and he remembered he hadn't wrote me a poem. He was stressing, he didn't want to exacerbate it, so he just focused on writing me a song.
Okay.
And this is a year later, and he got up and played a beautiful little song about the Sun Man. But these poems came back, and 3 other people, one was going to commit suicide, another one, she was studying for a bar, and she put this in front of her the night before. She was so stressed out, she thought she was going to fail, and she just stared at it, and it calmed her, soothed her, did all the visceral things these universal archetypes do. It's like brain tune-up. And she passed with flying colors the next day after studying with this in front of her. And then I had a chance to test it using advanced programs of biofeedback with Georgia Connor, a learning specialist, with sensors on my ears, wrists, and heart, recreating 40 of the brain waves, real time, almost real time, virtual real time, and the alphas at the top. And the higher and longer you're in alpha, the immune system's put back into balance.
Okay.
And once you see your own brainwave in alpha, you have a point of reference to maintain that in life because you know the feeling. Scientists think it's an altered state, but it's not.
It's an active state.
Yes. Zen Buddhists think it's a monkish state. It is not. It can be not. It can meet you doing a perfect 10 on the parallel bars. When she's in alpha or flow or in the zone, it's virtually effortless. Out of sync, out of flow, out of balance, she could snap her neck. And then the artists call it the zone. That's nebulous. And flow theory is probably the truth on it, but it's analyzing something that's non-analytical. If you're thinking of flow theory when you walk, you probably trip over your feet. So the whole point, aside from all of this explanation and my own exploration, is you have an opportunity to maintain alpha. People walk around without it. Olympic athletes have a high degree of it. When I was a child, and if you didn't have a difficult childhood, I was in love with everyone and everything. And that's the state you get back to. And I've learned to get back to it and try to live in that.
That's good. What do you do?
I'm a professor of all there is to know.
So the School of Hard Knocks.
No, I'm really a professor
Okay.
of all there is to know.
Okay.
And the Romanian.
Yes, the director of the Institute of Romanian Prostitutes.
No.
He's the Romanian director of the Institute of Destitute Prostitutes.
That's exactly it.
Destitute prostitutes. Are they hard up and out of work?
And they're really ugly.
They're from Romania. Yeah.
I'm an artist, and I'll show you one of my pieces.
Communication theory, that you can change by your intent the molecular structure at the edge of the universe and back in an instant.
Okay.
And if collectively, it's probably one of the biggest secrets there is on Earth. If everybody collectively got together and focused on healing somebody with cancer with their intention, they would be healed. Probably pretty much all the time.
Yeah, I'm a strong believer that the mind is a very powerful tool.
Well, it's more powerful than we think,
Yeah.
but if we were relatively perfect, it would do all the things that Jesus did, or have the ability to do that. Well, they're exploring, in Star Trek and all this technology, the same things: replicating food, healing people,
Sure.
Healing the sick. But you see, I have a physicist friend, David Pettit. He's one of the foremost physicists on light. He invented what's called the hollow portal.
Okay.
It's the one simplest, best way of making things 3D for your computer, TV, movie screens, and 35 other ways of doing it. And there's 17 corporations working on the same idea, but don't have the one simplest, best way of doing
So
it.
he has the best mousetrap.
Well, it's the simplest and best. You don't have to wear glasses. You don't have to sit in a particular position, etc. I don't know where he is now, because these big corporations and the money that's involved is kind of puts him in peril. He did patent it, but the thing is, where am I going with it?
Well, the thing though with any form of dimension other than one dimension, when it comes to a lot of people, is if their vision is impaired, they're not able to see anything else but one dimension. My brother cannot see 2 or 3 dimension because he had problems spatially,
Literally,
physically, and yet he is able to create the most beautiful things as a chef. And that
chef?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Smell,
that, so
aroma.
yeah, and
Flavor.
design and the way he presents things. But he even admits that what comes out on the plate looks completely different to him when he looks at it, and yet it's the most beautiful thing. And I agree with both of you that art is very therapeutic. Yeah.
It's probably. I was talking to this woman who was a teacher in Russia, and she's 80, and it's just a shame that the arts are no longer really in the public schools, because they
Never were.
No, they were when I was a child to a certain extent.
A very
but
small
fortunately,
extent.
my mother read to me before I was even in kindergarten, Kipling and these creative non-fiction, fiction, not non-fiction, and really gave
Inspired
me...
your imagination.
Well, it developed the imagination and
Right.
the ability to be imaginative.
Okay.
But without a purpose or intent that's really important, a lot of art today is just garbage. It may be healing and therapeutic to a certain extent, but not really as powerful as what I envision art will be in the future. By magnifying, focusing, and intensifying the healing therapeutic aspects of art on the viewer. I had a play based on my concept called Healing the Wound. It was based on a box I had created in therapy, putting art, poetry, and music in these stages: Kubler-Ross, denial, anger, depression, bargaining, acceptance.
Okay,
And I
7
added
stages, yeah.
and I added a 6th
Okay.
called Beyond. Once
Okay.
you finish what you call cathartic art therapy, it's time to move beyond. I can take people through this box. It's been expanded to any trauma, small or great, in their lives. Cutting somebody off, they get mad, you get sad, then you get angry, and then we're going to meet at the light, he might have a gun, bargaining, reasoning it out, and then rolling down your window and saying, I'm sorry, acceptance. And then beyond is driving off and not repeating that. But the thing is I can take people through this box, and instead of spending a lifetime in denial, anger, very few in bargaining, they can spend a lifetime or months or years or days and weeks in this. I had an opportunity under Ann Nathan Wodarski, master's in art therapy, 2 more years of psychology than the regular psychologist at Heart World at Mid-Valley Youth Center, where kids 12 to 18, boys and girls, were held while their dysfunctional parents were in court settling their court cases. She let me conduct 2 6-week classes, all boys, all girls, with this box. It was amazing. It freed them up. I had them come up to me years later. I simplified it, and you wouldn't believe that I got them out of being stuck in those first 3 stages.
Yeah,
And I fixed them in the box, so you don't have to go through 2 of them twice because they flip. If you get depressed first, then you get angry, and then you get depressed because you're angry. I just go right through. And in an hour, it frees people up. I had a music teacher in LA school, very intelligent woman, go through this box. She gets to depression. I knew depression some people would go off and commit suicide. She was one of those persons that froze, didn't want to finish the box. I'd softened, I made it anger, super angry, to really connect the picture, the music, etc. Denial. But when I came to that, I realized I had to soften it up. And she continued through the box, and she was freed up from that.
Yeah.
She was taken through all stages so she wouldn't have to suffer.